fast, they say it's the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications sent like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried that looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried that looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you're here today on this Tuesday, I just want to acknowledge you for being here. You guys could be doing a lot of other things, and you're here, and it means, it's just a sign to me you're somebody that takes your career seriously, and you're not messing around. So just so glad to have you here, my friend. So look, I see a lot of you. I see Serena and I see Antoine. If you would put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. I see you there, Jose. Hi there, Herbert from Rhode Island. So how long you've been on the job search and where you're from. because we're going to get started because no more waiting around. You guys are here to get hired fast. So that's what we're going to help make happen right now. Because my friends, hey there, Julio from Denver and Kara from Gilbert, right? Hi there, Trong, right here in DC, searching for a month. Sometimes searching for a job can feel like pounding sand, Jenny in Washington State, and Clovis from Atlanta. Hi, Shaylee from Denver, right? Charles, I see you there. Sometimes it can feel like you're waiting on a glacier, right? Sometimes it can feel like wandering through the desert, Serena. It's been 1 year for you. Hey there, Charles from Joplin. Hi there, Baraket from the Windy City and Jan from Charm City. Nice to see you. Hi, Haley in Durham, right? Sometimes it can feel like going into an arena, Letha in Williamsburg. Hi, Annika, right down the road. Nice to see you. Sometimes it can feel like looking into an abyss. So this workshop today, who's this for? Hey there, Kat from Seattle. If you are unsure about the direction you want your career to go, hey, Delphine, how are you doing? Hi there, Jeremy from DC. If you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, Matt, Nebraska. If you're uncertain if your resume is any good, hi there, Annika. If you're wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, if you're tired of applying and then hearing nothing back, Dr. Herbert, I get you. So a PhD scientist. So for me, it's especially difficult. That's an interesting story you're telling yourself there, Dr. Herbert. We'll get into that. And sorry you don't like my music. It's okay, buddy. Right? If you've been doing interviews that seem to be going great and you still get no's, and if you're trapped in a job you don't like and you just don't know how you can escape, and especially if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. I see you there, Timia. On the other hand, if you are super casual about your career, not willing to do the work, if you're reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, if you're just interested in finding a job to get money, right? That's okay, Herbert, Dr. Herbert. Don't worry. If you're stuck in ways, and here's the big one, guys. If you know the reason you're not getting a job, right? You know it's because of your industry or your age or fill in the blank, right? And you're committed to that knowing, it could be hard for you to find a job, right? And especially if you're unwilling to be authentic. Not a great workshop for you. So what you're going to learn how to do today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work right away to elevate your job search, to do work that matters, pays what you and your family deserve. We got doctors in the house. Just so you know, I'm a doctor too, in case you're wondering. Doctor. I love that, right? Like Spies Like Us. It's an old reference. Okay, so our agenda from today. Who is this guy? A lot of you are like, who the hell is this guy? Like, you don't know who I am. That's fine. I'm just going to just give you briefly a little bit about where I'm coming from. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. Guys, I'm going to have an invitation for you at the end of this workshop. And look, some of you have already joined this workshop because you've already had friends or family that have worked with me and my team. You've already gotten hired fast. What's up with my hair? I don't know. People don't like my hair. I don't know, Martin. I don't know what's up with my hair. So that I have an invitation. If you're here because you already know you want to work with us, I'm going to drop an invitation in the chat. It's for a complimentary coaching call, right? And the requirement for this complimentary coaching call is 1, you're going to show up, right? You're not going to book it and then cancel. Don't do that. 2, you're at least open to the idea of making an investment to get help, right? You want people to pay you money, be willing to be the change you seek. And 3, you're ready to get started. So we're going to talk more about that. And again, thank you, Herbert. This workshop is going off the rails right from the beginning. No, it's fine, right? It's fine, guys. I appreciate it all. Anyhow, we're going to talk about booking a call because you guys want to get hired fast. Okay, and that's what it looks like to book a call, free coaching call. And again, if we think we can help you on this call, we're going to tell you. Okay, so that's the link there. So that's our agenda for today, and we're going to have time for Q&A because I've got a little bit of time after this. So we'll take a question and answer. We got a good crowd today. So who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, look, I'm kind of a weirdo. I grew up overseas. I grew up in Asia. I didn't come to the States till I was 17, right? Wound up transferring college 7 times. And that was a little bit disorienting, right? I didn't really have my career stuff put together. So I thought, I was kind of a loss. So I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool, right? And I spent about 10,000 hours with the fish. And so I thought, what would be, I got to do something about my career. What would be the most prestigious job I could ever have? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of paper and I wrote a letter and I said, "Dear Mr. President, you should hire me. Hey, his hair looks good back then too. Thanks, Andrea. Right? So you should hire me. So I sent that letter off. I'm like, I'm never hearing back from those guys. About a month later, I was going past the Guam post office, and the guy came out. He's like, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. So I thought, that's interesting. So I opened it up, and it was an internship application. Now, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that out, sent it in, and I'm like, I am never hearing back about that. But at least I had the cool envelope from the White House, which I thought was pretty cool. That got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools. I got into GW here and landed with like a dumpster diver. And speaking of hair, I had this big bushy haircut, and was like dumpster diving for furniture. I wound up buying a pair of running shoes and was out running along the National Mall, ran past the White House, and I was like, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What's up with that? So I found a payphone, put in a quarter. I called them up. I said, hey, you bastards, what about that internship thing? And they're like, is this Eric from Guam? I'm like, yeah. They're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You're supposed to start in the First Lady's office on Monday. So I got a haircut, bought a suit, and I showed up. Now, look, my friends, I know we got a lot of political craziness in our country right now. So if my politics don't match yours, please forgive me. This was back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. And I wound up on her staff in Hillary Land for a lot of the Clinton administration. Eventually followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we represented the great state of New York. Eventually followed her again to the U.S. State Department, where I did a bunch of UNESCO stuff. And then I left Hillary Land eventually and wound up as director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And all during this time, seeing people figure out their careers at all different levels, early career, mid-career, senior career, all different disciplines. I see the same movie over and over where people are trying to figure out their career in a system that's not very linear or logical or fair. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Nye. I appreciate that. And so now I coach. I do a lot of speaking, do a lot of coaching. I've written an outrageous number of books. I have a super impressive number of credentials, right? It's very impressive. I have glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably, maybe, right? We've helped about 30,000 some people in this program. Let's see if we can help you. So welcome questions in the chat. And I like to give things away to people where's Nutan, right? Nutan, you went in the pre-call, you were like the first person who was engaging. So we're going to give Nutan, if you would identify yourself in the chat, we're going to send you a free course that we have. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome, because I like it when people engage Nutan. So we're going to give you that course for free. So here it is, guys. 4 strategies. Here's the first one. Put this in the chat if you would, please. What's a good resume about? What's a good resume about? Let's see if anybody gets it right. What's a good resume about, my friends? What could it be about? Let's see if anybody knows. Yeah, what's a good there's Nutan Bhandari. Let's make sure we give Nutan that course. We've got Jelly and Chris helping us today. Okay, so I see experience. Trong says me. Amber says experience. Jenny says experience. Chris says storytelling. Andrea says your accomplishments. Like Herbert, it's same thing with the CV, Herbert. Like landing an interview. John says accomplishments. John says me. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. How much you can help the employer. It's close, Ryan, but that's not the right answer. Skills to sell. Nope. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer. Okay. So what a lot of you are saying is this. That's the course we're going to send you, Bhutan. A lot of you are saying is this. It's me. Or you're saying it's about how I can help the employer, right? Amber's saying it's telling about yourself. Nope. It's not about any of that, my friends. A good resume isn't about you. Because if you want to be influential with another person or organization, the first thing you're going to talk about isn't you, it's them. A good resume isn't about you, it's about them. It's not even about how you can help them. It's just about them. So if you get nothing else, nope, it's not how I fit the company to me. It's just the company. If you get nothing else from this workshop today, please take this home in your job search. It's about them. It's not even about how you can help them. It's just about them, right? Okay. So that's strategy number 1. It's about them. So many job seekers think it's about me or how I can help them. Nope. Not about that at all. It's just about them. And look, because employers are focused on themselves. So you might as well be too, right? And it's no wonder that we think a good resume is about us, because very likely the first resume we ever did, I know this was true for me, was out of school. And in school, it is about us. It's our cubby. It's our desk. Hey, Cedric D. Cedric D booked a call. Nice job. First one out of the gate. Let's make sure we send Cedric this course about how to make his LinkedIn profile awesome. So Cedric D, we're going to send you that course for booking a call. Nice job, Cedric. Right? In school, it is about us. It's our trophy, our transcript, our diploma. And yet when we move to the working world, it's about the constituent, the customer, the client. It's not about us. So if you do just this alone, this will elevate your job search. It's not about you. It's about them. Okay. Next question. If I went to a library and I saw a shelf full of storybooks and I looked on the front cover of those storybooks, I'd see some words. What do we call those words on the front cover of a book? What do we call those words? Does anybody know? I bet people will get this one right. What do we call those words on the front cover of a book? We call them something. What are they called? There's a little bit of a delay. Right? Okay, I see it here. A bunch of you got it right at once. Okay, so I see Trong Ween, and Amy Saniki, and Amber. The first three that got it right. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we send you this course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. And Bindu and Adam and Terry and Kara and Wally and Silifat and Christy and Nye, you guys are all right. Jerry, like Matt, you're all right. It's title. Now, isn't it interesting that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, which brings us to strategy number 2, which is stories. Let me ask you another question. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat, right? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? Like what percent is emotional and what percent is logical? Let's see if anybody gets this one right, because I want to give some more stuff away. What is the ratio when it comes to human decision-making? Is it emotional? So, okay, so we got 80-20. Okay, Bindu says, okay, Herbert says 99-1, Silifant says 90, Wally says 90, Mark says 70, nobody's got it right yet. Jenny says it's something 20, right? George says 95-5, nope. Terry says 70-30, nope, sorry, nobody's got the right answer yet. Nazar says 20-80, nope. Christine says 90-10, nope, 50-50. Anthony Wilson and Catherine C, you got it, both of these. Catherine C and Anthony Wilson get it right. I got it right. It's 100% emotional. Human decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know it's 100% emotional is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, they're fine. They're fine. They can't have any emotion and they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. That's the debilitating part. Right? So people who walk around and say, we make data-driven decisions, and they tend to talk like this. They say, hello, my name is Eric, and I make data-driven. No, they don't. If they're a human earthling, they don't. It's their decision. When you guys joined this workshop today, right? You decided right off the bat whether you liked me, right? Some of you were like, I don't like his hair. And Herbert was like, I'm joking about the music. I mean, it was pretty funny, right? It was all emotional, right? All that stuff's emotional. There was no facts, right? It's 100% emotional. Now, we will then collect data to rationalize the emotional decision that we've already made. But the original decision is emotional. It's very, very quick. So if you're not, and the reason stories are so important is stories are how we convey emotion, right? It's like what Maya Angelou said, right? It's people will remember how we make them feel, right? Anthony M booked a call. Nice job, Anthony. Guys, let's make sure we send Anthony M our free course, okay? So it's like, so if you're not incorporating story into your stuff, you're really leaving a lot on the table because it's all really a story, right? Oh, booked a call. Haley, you may have missed it. So some people we're offering a free coaching call and explore whether our program can help you, but we'll talk more about it. Don't worry, guys. So so here's a story. Notice I'm about to tell a story. One time I was taking applications for a program, and you're God bless my right. Thanks, Martin. Right. I was taking applications for this program, and this lady, Maggie, had written in, and she said how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Danielle S booked a call. Nice job, Danielle. We look forward to talking to you. Let's make sure we take care of Danielle with the course. We've got Jessa and Chris today. So glad you guys are here. Okay. Her arm had been severed in a terrible car crash. So I was like, that's quite a story. So we brought her into the program as her first day neared. Her name was Maggie. I was like, thinking about, how are we going to accommodate Maggie? She's got one arm. She walks in the first day, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached. And Maggie was doing some physical therapy. But was I pissed off at Meg? No, I was so happy she had both her arms. And I remember that story to this day, even though that story was probably 25 years ago. And the reason I remember it so well is because I remember how it made me feel. Our capacity for processing data is like 20 bits a second. Our capacity for processing emotion is like 40 million bits a second. It's orders of magnitude greater. So if you're not using emotion in your job searching stuff, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Oh, okay, Timmy. I love your question about ATS. Eduardo B. booked a call. We're going to take questions at the end, I promise. Okay. Who's this guy? It's another question for the chat, guy. What's this guy's name? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho, right? He lives in Idaho. What's this guy called? What's this guy's name? He's friends to llamas. What's this guy do? He's involved in political campaigns. He likes ligers. And we've got some answers. Andrea Morelos and Haley Rodriguez Perez. And let's also give it to Kara Pierce. It's Napoleon Dynamite. Amazing, right? And so for those of you who haven't seen, Mark Zuckerberg says a lot. For those of you who haven't seen this fine piece of cinema, like drop your job search and go watch. I mean, come on, folks. We're trying to create a society here, and I don't want to ruin it. Napoleon Dynamite's this high school kid. He sort of beats to his own drum. He finds himself in front of his entire student body at school on stage. He's got to like vote for Pedro. That's right, Jerry. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, but now he's on the hook to do some sort of performance that he is not prepared for. So the music starts to play, and Napoleon just does this crazy dance. I mean, it's the wildest. I mean, this thing is wild. It's metaphorically opening the kimono. And when he's done, he's sort of panting and all sweaty, and all of his classmates are like this, and then they burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern Lima. So yeah, we're going to send those first three, the LinkedIn course, guys. Good job for you. And Heidi B booked a call. Nice job, Heidi B. We're going to make sure we send you that course as well. Nice job. Right? Jamie Kern Lima says, she's the founder of It Cosmetics. She says, everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully. And she's right. This brings us to strategy number 3, which is authenticity. Let me ask you a question. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you, humans. Humans hire humans. So many are out there trying to be perfect. They're like, I am proficient in Microsoft Office. And people who are proficient, Kelsey has booked a call. And I'm going to talk like this to congratulate Kelsey. And hopefully I'm not mispronouncing her name because I am proficient. No, you don't want to talk like that, right? Authenticity. Humans hire humans. Now, good job, Kelsey. I think it's Kelsey. Sorry. Nice job. We look forward to talking to you, right? So many are like, ooh, like I can hear you right now. You're like, well, Eric, what about the ATS? What about the algorithms? I spent $9,000 to get an ATS optimized resume. What about that? I'm sorry. How's that been working? Right? Yes, different organizations use different kinds of software, but it's like a filing cabinet and they're all different. And the idea that you're going to somehow game the system to get into one, right? Yeah. So Adam, that's an interesting story you're telling yourself about AI hires humans in 2025. I mean, that's an interest. I mean, I could be wrong. My clients don't find that, right? What my clients find is the opportunity is to be more human and to connect to other humans. And the good news is an increasing automated world. And look, I'm a fan of AI. I think it's miraculous. And in an increasingly robotic, automated world where most of your competitors are out there trying to trick the ATS and be more automated, the opportunity for you is to be the best Adam you can be, the best Kelsey you can be. Because the good news is nobody can be a better Kelsey than Kelsey or a better Adam than Adam. Super powerful. Nicholas V. Nobody can be a better Nicholas V than Nicholas V. We look forward to talking to you, Nicholas. Right? So one time, for example, I was having a conversation with Nina. Notice, by the way, I'm telling another story. I was having a conversation with Nina, bright person. Like we were going to get her hired. And I said, I was looking at her resume and I said, Nina, what do you like to do for fun? And Nina sort of hemmed and hawed. And finally I got out of Nina that she had a pen collection, like a pen collection. And I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. We got to put that on there. She's like, oh, no, I couldn't do that. It's unprofessional. So I did my best to coach her to put it on there. She put it on there. I hear from her a month later. She went into the interview. They talked about pens for 30 minutes, and then she got the offer. And this happens with my clients all the time because humans hire humans. Robots don't hire humans. Humans don't hire robots. Robots definitely don't hire robots. At least not yet. Not in 2025. So that's right, Haley. Cool. All right. Authenticity is your superpower. All right, here we go. Strategy number 4, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe, says Abe Lincoln. This brings us to the idea of systems. The idea of systems, right? A lot of you are getting the results you're getting because of the current systems you have. Some of you have the system of, I'm going to trick the ATS. Some of you have the system called, I'm going to hide my age. Some of you have a system called, I'm going to put that paragraph at the top of my resume. And I might even put the title of the job I'm applying to, because they'll just see the title and it'll be like a Jedi mind trick. And they think that I'll be good for the job. Brian M. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Brian M. Like, how's all those systems working for you? I don't even know. I mean, they might be working, but my experience is those systems. How many of you have the system of, well, a 20-something recruiter told me to take off everything for the last 15 years of my experience. So that's like, how's that system working? I mean, my experience is those systems don't work super great, right? So there's nothing wrong about you. It's just you've got systems that aren't working. So if you want to get a different result than the results you've been getting in your job search, you're going to want to change the system. And look, my heart goes to you, my friends, because for a lot of you, this is your current system. And God love you. You've done every iteration of, dials and the sticky button and the gear shift. Donald F. booked a call. Nice job. We'll make sure we're taking care of all these guys that book calls, guys, with that free LinkedIn course. Free coaching call for Donald F. Awesome, right? Like you've done everything possible with this system. I mean, no wonder it's frustrating. No wonder you can't drive your job search to success. Here's the system that's available, right? There's stuff you don't even know about. So you can spend a lot of time and energy trying to figure out here, or trying to figure out how to go from this system to this system, or you could just like get some help, right? And we just get this handled. So how do you put this all to work? So look, I want to show a video, and where we're going to get to, I got 9 tactics for you. We still got lots to go here, and then we're going to take some Q&A. But I want to show a video of Angel. Angel's signed up for this program. And again, we've got a program that's called Get Hired Fast. It comes with a lot of one-on-one coaching. We've got events 4 or 5 days a week. It's a group session, and it's not like, you get a lot of attention from me. It's amazing, and it works really well, and it just gets people hired fast. So Angel did this program, so I just want to show you Angel's results. Let's roll them. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the
Yay!
job!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Yay, Angel. Hey, Adam, I love your question. We're going to make sure we get to that. And James P. booked a call. Nice job, James P. So yeah, guys, for those of you who joined a little late and you're like, what are all these calls? So the idea is that we offer complimentary coaching call, and the only requirements are you're not going to book it and cancel. Like, don't do that. Come on, guys. Like, my team's not that big. Don't do that. You're going to be at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? You want somebody to pay you money to do work, be the change you seek, and you're ready to get started. Yeah. And if on that call, we think we can help you, like, we're going to take a stand for that. And if we don't think we can help you, that'll be fine too. Either way, you're going to have the chance to explore what's going on with your job search. Okay. So that's what that looks like to book a call. All right. And that's the link. All right, guys, 9 tactics. Here we go. So this is the part of the workshop where I like to talk real damn fast, because sometimes people are having me on replay and they have me at 2 times speed, and now it's like 7 times speed. If you're on the replay and you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. All right. So let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Now they're surrounded by other people in little boats. So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat, because I want to give some more stuff away, right? Who's the person drowning? If this was a job search, so other people in little boats, somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. That's a job search. Who's the person drowning? Let's see if anybody gets this right. Who's going to get it right? Let's see here. So Andrea says, me? Question mark. Right. Catherine C. Look at Catherine C. Yeah, Catherine C. And let's give it to Jeremy Schloem too. Right. A lot of people think it's me. I'm the one drowning. And it can feel that way. Clovis M booked a call. Nice job. Clovis M's not drowning. It can feel like we're drowning on a job search. Absolutely, because we've got bills and we got family members who are like, well, can't you just settle? We don't want to see you go through the pain of another rejection, right? It can feel like we're the ones drowning. Here's what's more accurate. We're the ones in the boat. It's the employer that's drowning. And the reason we know they're drowning is they've told us. They put out a job listing to say, help, we're drowning in work. Now, some of you, hey, Loic M, cool name, Loic, right? Booked a call. Nice job, right? So I said someone without my program, that's who's drowning. I don't know about that, right? But like the opportunity, right, is to realize that you're not the one drowning. But yet a lot of job seekers act like they are. They'll say things like this, ooh, I'm the best one. I need to sell myself. I need to convince you that I'm the best one to pull you from the water. Me. And the person in the water's like, I need help, but not from that guy. Because needy is creepy. So this brings us to talk number 1, which is mindset. You want to get out of the mind. Hey, Len W. booked a call. Nice job, Lynn, the lady of the lake. That's amazing, Martin. Right? So like, yeah, Lynn booked a call. Nice job, Lynn. We look forward to like figuring out what's going on with your job search. Right? A lot of people are in the mindset of me. Like there's limited money, time, choices. I'm afraid I'm drowning. And the opportunity instead is to realize you're the one in the boat. You want to approach your job search from a place of service. And guys, you don't want to sell yourself. Selling's weird. It's like selling people's weird. Buying people's even weirder. We've gone over this historically. Like, don't do that. Don't buy and sell humans. Don't do that. Don't sell yourself either. Come from a place of service. Pamela D booked a call. Nice job, Pamela D. Nice job. All right, guys. Tactic number 2. Here we go. Some of you have seen the show Deadliest Catch. Alaskan fishermen, they put those big steel pots on the bottom of the ocean floor with little bait. And crabs come along, and finally Bob the crab goes in, and then Sally and Cheryl, and more crabs start joining. Eventually the bait's gone. But here's the deal. Crabs like rolling with other crabs. So Charlie the crab, and Charlie talks like this. My name's Charlie the crab. Not all crabs talk like this, just Charlie. Right? He's like, I'm out of here, boys. There's no more bait. There's no more lunch. I'm going to go find an oyster. Here's what the other crabs will do. They'll pull poor Charlie back in. They'll even pull off one of Charlie's crab arms. They'll even do a crab murder on Charlie because crabs like to roll with other crabs. And what happens is they all get pulled up to become dinner. So sad for Charlie and all the rest of the crabs. And this brings us to tactic number 2, which is your environment. Some of you are thinking, well, I'm not getting a job because I don't have the right experience, or it's my age, or it's the economy, or my industry saturated. Or I don't, or maybe, nah, it's not that. It's 1, you don't have a system. And 2, very likely, your environment's not supporting you. And this, we're talking about your intellectual environment. Hey, Sheena T, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Emotional, psychological, spiritual, all of it. Physical, right? Environment eats motivation for lunch. Ryan H booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Ryan H, right? It's your environment. So one of the ways that we help people, one of the biggest ways, first ways we help people in my program, like Get Hired Fast, is to dial in your environment. Because if your environment's not supporting you, it's no good. Chelsea K booked a call. Nice job, Chelsea K. Right? Make sure we send all these guys our LinkedIn course, my friends. Right? So you're going to want to dial in your environment. It's really important. And this could be the book you're reading from somebody written 100 years ago. It doesn't matter. Right? Some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups. You're the average age, weight, income of the 5 people you hang out with most. It's the same thing on this. You're going to want to be with a community of people that are like taking care of business, getting hired fast. When you're with people like that, it just a rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, on to tactic number 3. JM booked a call. JM, nice work, JM. Acknowledge you, buddy. Good job. It's hard to hit a blurry target. This brings us the idea of vision. Some of you are familiar with the proverb where there is no vision, the people perish. Sometimes I'll ask people, I'll say, well, how much money do you want to make? I'll say, well, anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000. I don't know why the person I'm coaching this situation sounds like Gomer Pyle. It just does. So you're just going to have to deal with it. I say, well, Gomer, that's great. Well, like, what do you want to do? And says, well, I want to help people. And I'm like, Gomer, that's beautiful. and it's really effing vague. And Gomer's like, oh no, that's terrible, right? So you gotta want to have vision in your job search, right? Where there is no vision, the people perish, right? If you don't have clarity around what you're doing next, right? There's a reason when race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle that they don't look at the outer wall, because the car will tend to go where they look. So if you don't have vision, you're just going to be driving in circles like those race car drivers. Sound familiar? I bet it sure feels familiar, right? You're going to want to have clarity. All right, guys, I got another one for the chat here. If we went to the store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat. Let's see who might know. If I went to the store and I bought this thing, what would I be buying? Let's see if anybody gets it right, because I want to give away some more stuff. What would I be buying if I went to the store and bought this? You guys, you're like, he's a tricky bastard. What is it? Okay, so Kelly says drill. Lee says tool. Andrea says drill. Sakina says drill. Jenny says drill. Mark says drill. I haven't seen the right answer yet. Lynn says drill. Haley says drill. Right? Oh, well, hold on. Alex says ability to build. Okay. Nope, haven't seen the right answer yet. Steven says no battery. Nope. You need the battery that goes with it, says Jay, right? Steve says a tool. I haven't seen the right answer yet. Alex actually was the closest. I'm going to scroll up here to Alex, because Alex said the ability to build something, but I haven't seen the right answer. So let's make sure we give this to Alex, right? Because Alex got it the closest. What you're actually buying here, my friends. Oh, Herbert, Dr. Herbert. Let's make sure we give it to Dr. Herbert too. Dr. Herbert got it. Smart brain on Dr. Herbert. Nice job, right? He's the scientist. Leave it to the scientist, right? What we're buying is a whole. Because I don't need this sitting around my garage. What I actually want is a hole. And actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't want a bunch of holes in my wall. That's no good. Herbert, to book to call. Nice job, Herbert, right? Mike, I don't need a bunch of holes in my wall. What I actually need is a place to put the hook. Actually, I don't want a bunch of hooks coming out of my wall. Gash my arm open. Sounds very dangerous. What I actually want is a place to hang the picture. And actually, I don't even want that. What I actually want is the feeling I get. Hey, Dorothy L, book to call. Nice job. What I want is the feeling I get, right? When I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook that's in the hole that was made by the drill. So that's the course we're going to send those guys who are first, right? So this brings us to the idea of giving them safety, right? What a lot of people are focused on is me. Let me talk about myself. Let me worry about my age. Me. Don't do that. We're going to focus on them. And even when people focus on them, I hear from people that attended this workshop, and I'll hear from them about 3 or 4, 6 months later, or a year later. They'll be like, Eric, I'm making it about them. And I'm like, show me. And what they're talking about is the drill rather than the picture. Because what we really want to focus on is the thing that keeps that employer up at night when they're laying in bed trying to go to sleep at night. If we can dial in on that, and so when they look at our stuff, they see possibility for themselves, and they think that's right. Game over. Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than messing around with ATS systems and all that nonsense? Hiding your age. Don't do it, my friends. There's a reason. If you haven't been getting traction in your job search, this is why. And the good news is most people don't know this stuff. This isn't Googleable. Nobody else is talking about this stuff. You guys just happen to fall into this awesome workshop where this is the stuff that works. Yeah. So how can you make them feel seen, heard, and understood? All right, guys, resumes. Let's go on to talk. Janice C, book to call. Nice job, Janice C. Look forward to talking to you. All right. So resumes. This takes us to tactic number 5, which is Wilbert N, book to call. Nice job, Wilbert N. Right? Paper. Resumes are more art than science. And anybody says that there's one way to do it is full of it. And some things work better than others. The last thing you're going to want to do with your resume is make it look like everybody else's. That's professional camouflage. All right. And there's probably some things that you've been doing in your resume that don't work very well, including, I have an executive summary. Let me give you all sorts of words. I'll say words about me that are completely out of context. That'll convince them. Don't do that. Right? And so many other things when it comes to resumes, right? I had a client last year at the bottom of her resume. Well, one of the things I do with clients is I say, where's the evidence on your resume that you're a human? Like Nina's pens. This client of mine, she decided to start putting 2 truths and a lie at the bottom of her resume. Worked brilliantly. She got 2 interviews and 2 offers just because of that, because they told her. Now, lately, I've been putting on people's resumes the 3 things I'm most afraid of. Serena W. booked a call. Nice job, Serena W. Look forward to talking to you, right? So you're going to want to make sure your paper is dialed in. And for goodness sakes, please don't follow best practices when it comes to your resume. You want your resume to show them that you're different, that you're the most Serena there's ever been. All the rest. You want to communicate with them in a way they cannot ignore. For instance, hyperlinks. Do you have hyperlinks in your resume? I do, right? Ageism in the job market that starts at 36. We're going to talk about ageism, Whitney. We'll talk about that. 36. I mean, it's such a, I actually love that question, because I don't know. I could say a lot about ageism. We'll get to that. Okay. All right, guys, this is good. And for those of you who've stuck around, I got something I'm going to give you here. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? Does it make a sound, Whitney? Single tier of Diet Coke? I would humbly suggest that it doesn't, right? Some of you, right, when you send in an application, you're like, well, shucks, I hope I hear back. And for some reason, when you apply, you make that voice. We don't know why. Maybe Dr. Herbert could tell us. Science has yet to prove it. Why? We don't know. Right? You're like, well, I hope I hear back. Right? And you just hope. Right? And some of you, hey, Gary L. booked a call. Nice job. Right? You're going to want to follow up. Not just one time. And some of you are like, sounds a little pushy to follow. If you were in the boat and somebody was face down floating in the water, would you be like, are you okay? And they didn't move. You wouldn't be like, I don't want to. No, you'd jump in the water. You'd flip them over. You'd start giving them mouth to mouth. And if they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you would be willing to offend in the name of service. And by the way, you're not going to want to follow with recruiters. Recruiters are professionally trained ninjas when it comes to keeping you apart from the hiring manager. Because if you're talking to the hiring manager, the recruiter really doesn't need to be there. So they don't like that. They don't want that, right? So you're going to want to follow up. And when you follow up, it's not, hey, I'm really interested in, like your job, because that's all about me. Now, hey, Uzoma. I thought the job market needed to be reprimanded. Uzoma A, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Now, some of you are sitting here thinking, but Eric, it'd be so great if I could follow up, but I don't know who to follow up with. Eric, I got you. I've got a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. Mari M booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Mari M, right? It's called How to Contact Anybody. So this will no longer be a challenge for you. Okay, it won't be a challenge for you. Sorry, there we go. It won't be a challenge. Here's how you get this free course. I want to give it to all of you. Here's how you get it. 1, go to my LinkedIn profile. We're going to drop the link in the chat right now. Thank you, Jessa and Chris. You guys are doing a great job, right? Go to my LinkedIn profile. You're going to connect with me or follow me. So you got to connect or follow with me. And then you're going to send me an email in LinkedIn with a single word. And that word is chicken. Okay, so that's the password, right? You're going to email me the word chicken. Okay, thank you. Very good. Very good. Right. You're going to email me the word chicken, right? And then we will send you the link to this free course. And then you'll be able to contact anybody as long as you're not a chicken. Okay, so that's how you get the free course. Amazing. Amazing. So now you'll know how to contact anybody. Okay, so you're going to want to follow up. All right, guys, we're almost to Q&A. I promise. You guys have been such a great crowd. This is tactic number 7. Who's ever seen the Academy Awards? Jeremy at G booked a call. Nice job, Jeremy G, right? Who's ever seen the Academy Awards where some actor gets a big prize and they get up there and she's like, yeah, I got nobody to thank. And the Academy is sort of looking around and it's awkward. They're like, no. She gets up there and she's like, I got to thank this person. They're playing the music, right? If it was a cartoon, they have the big long cane. They try to drag her off stage. When people do great things, they do it with other people. Asking for help makes you look strong, not weak. Those of you who are like, worried about whether you put the chevron on your LinkedIn post about open to work, stop worrying. Ask for help. Ask for help. And by the way, when you ask for help, it's a gift. Sakina M booked a call. Nice job, Sakina M. When you ask for help, it's a gift. because the person, I mean, as those of you who've been asked for help, you know this firsthand, right? Because when we ask somebody for help, they know that we wouldn't have asked for their help unless their help was worth asking for. And then your success becomes their success. This is so powerful. Ask for help. Christian F. booked a call. Nice job, Christian F. We look forward to talking to you. So you're going to want to network. And by the way, you're not going to want to just send one-off messages, right? And you probably know a lot more people than you think. And you're going to want to stay out of people's Rolodexes, right? Because you're like, oh, well, I only know 5 people in my industry. That's fine. There are people that are married to people who have cousins and uncles and brothers and aunts that know people. So stop deciding what you know about I have clients right now who they're like, I reached out to my cousin's sister and they actually knew the person I was trying to get hired from. Right? It happens all the time. Jennifer, don't worry. We're going to talk about booking a call. I appreciate you though very much. Okay. You're going and doing these as one-offs is sort of like having a single line that you got to get the right bait on the right fish, good Lord, what we want to do instead is filter the ocean. And we want to have a system for doing that. It's one of the things we teach in my Get Hired Fast program. All right, guys, 2 more tactics here and we're going to get going. I said Rolodex. Yeah, Rolodex. You guys remember that? Rolodexes, they sort of look like Pac-Man. I'm old, Adam. You got to give me a break here. Your Google contact list, right? Wherever. Your iPhone address book. Raquel M. booked a call. Nice job. All right, guys, here we go. Interviews. Who would like the best advice on interviews, right? Old school verbiage. That's right. Right? So who would like the best advice on interviews? Here it is. Don't answer the questions. Justin L. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Justin. Don't answer the questions, right? A lot of you are going into interviews saying, I hope I get the right answer. Stop. Because in an interview, they're really only ever asking one question. And here's the question. Can I trust you? That's it. That's the whole ball game, right? They don't care about your skills, your experience, who you know. All they really care about is, can I trust you? Now, we lived in a society where everybody told the truth. There was a movie about that, right? Interviews would be really short. You'd sit down and they'd be like, hey, can I trust you? You'd be like, nah, not really. Okay, well, thanks for coming in, right? And you're done. But people say, they ask questions like, well, what's your greatest professional achievement, right? Or tell me about a time that you made a mistake, right? And all they're really asking for is, can I trust you? So rather than worry a lot about answering the question, which isn't really the question they're asking, instead give answers and tell stories that build trust. So often people join this program when they've had like 3 or 4 times where they've gotten to the very final round and then it's a no. Guys, the reason it's a no is because they don't trust you, and it's nothing personal. The reason some of you are booking calls and some of you are like, that guy, I don't like the sound of his voice. It's fine. It's about trust. So the opportunity is you're going to want to build trust. Focus on building trust. Watch the job offers roll in. Speaking of Libby L, booked a call. Nice job, Libby L. Speaking of job offers, let's talk about them. 2 important things when it comes to job offers. 1, when you're looking at jobs, you don't have to worry if you're qualified. They will have an opinion. So you can spend a lot of time and energy like worrying if you're qualified for a job, or you just take all that time and energy and just apply. That might work better. Number 2, you don't have to worry if you want a job unless and until it's offered. So when a recruiter or somebody says, well, if we offered you $1 a year to work in Antarctica, a lot of people would be like, nope. My invitation to you is be like, that's possible. Live in possibility, live in not knowing. A lot of times when people join this program that I'm talking about, they pay for the program several times over just because we help them negotiate job offers. It happens all the time. So Nathan M. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. You guys have been a super duper crowd. So here it is, guys. Write this down. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast. Notice what's not on there. Impressing, looking good, hiding your age, talking about yourself. None of that stuff works. Stop doing that. You want to get hired fast, do this. This stuff I'm offering you is not Googleable. This isn't stuff that look, I've learned from plenty of other people. This is stuff that I've developed over 30 plus years in my own career and helping about 30 bazillion clients get hired fast, right? My invitation to you is don't wait. Don't wait, because some of you have been doing the same thing over and over and you've got the same system and you think you're going to get different results. I hope so. And good luck with that. If that was going to happen, it would have already happened. And it's expensive. Thanks, Herbert. I appreciate that. It's expensive, right? Because if this is your annual salary, this is how much it's KDC booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, KDC. This is how much it's costing you a month. That's how much it's costing you a week to not be employed. So look, my friends, with this program here, if we can get you hired a couple weeks sooner, like you more than pay for the program. And this program is what I'm talking about. It's Get Hired Fast. Comes with a lot of one-on-one coaching, right? Comes with like group coaching nearly every day of the week. I think we're going to make it 5 days a week, right? Comes with a course. You think this workshop, this free workshop is good? Wait till you see the paid stuff, right? Because there's so much more. We're just scratching the surface here. Again, there's a community. It's awesome. It works. The question is not whether it works. It's whether, hey, Catherine C., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Catherine C. The question is not whether it works. It's question is like, do you want to just keep doing what you've been doing, right? Because like, look, we cover everything. We cover mindset. We cover clarity around what you want. We cover paper, resumes, cover letters, follow-up, networking, interviews, offers, everything you can imagine related to job search. And the guarantee we offer is that if you don't get hired in 3 months or less, we will stay with you until you do, which means that 100% of people that join this program, as long as they stay with it, they get hired. And I've got some statistics showing a little bit. So here's some of the people that have gotten hired, right? There's Jessie. She was a nonprofit exec. She kept getting offers that weren't what she wanted. So we got through like 3 or 4 offers before she said yes. She was awesome. There's Rob. He was moving back to the States from overseas. He didn't want to get here and search for jobs for like 900 months. So he pretty much landed and had a job waiting for him when he got here. Wayne got a bunch of offers with us. Amy was one of these people who had kept getting to the final round and getting a no. And John was a CEO who did fractional CEO stuff. We got him covered. Philip was an early professional. He got 2 offers at once. You already met Angel. This tends to be what happens, right? So notice the vast majority of people that join this program, they get hired in the first 3 months. For some people, it's 4, and there's some people that it takes a little longer, right? And for sometimes that's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's because they get sick or they sort of like disengage from the program for a while. But generally, this works. Those of you who care about data, right? I just said we're not data driven, so you probably don't care about this. Right? What I said is true. What you don't want to be doing is running on a hamster wheel, thinking you're going to get different results. So a lot of you are like, but how much does it cost, Eric? Right? We do financing, right? I think it boils it down to like $300 a month if you can get financing. So a lot of you have been out of work, you're worried about money, but we have financing through PayPal and Klarna. You pay the risk when you got the job. We place 100% of people that do the program. And again, it's awesome. We've just got a lot of receipts on this. So 3 requirements to booking a coaching session. 1, you're going to show up for the call. Don't book a call and cancel. Don't do that. 2, you're at least open into the idea of investing in yourself because you can see how expensive it is to be on a job hunt. And 3, you're ready to get hired now. And I want to say 2 more things. This is a great time to do this because it's the end of the year, right? So what a lot of people are going to do right now is they're going to like, well, I'll wait till next year. Don't do that. You're going to want to have your systems in place so that, I mean, look, I had 2 clients last New Year's Eve that got hired on New Year's Eve. So it's not impossible. And, and so here we are sitting at November 18th. You're going to want to at least have your systems. Gregory N. booked a call in place, ready for next year. 2, I've got a Black Friday deal that we haven't even announced yet. We're going to announce this Friday. And if you mention it on this call, we'll give you this Black Friday deal. It takes $1,500 off the normal price of the coaching program, which is a really good deal. So that's how you book a call, free coaching call. And again, if nothing else, if we don't think we can help you, we'll tell you that. If nothing else, you're going to get some great coaching. 3 months or less. Yeah, that's the idea of the program. And a lot of people, they get hired before that, right? So that's, I'm going all the way back now, but like 3 months or less, that's the goal. And if you don't get hired in 3 months or less, we'll stay with you until you do. So my friends, that's how that is. Book a call right there. Austin Y, you book a call. Nice job, Austin Y. All right, guys, I'm going to give you my full gigantic head so you can really appreciate the hair. I could play music now too. Who's got questions for us to answer? Because I'm in the mood to. Yeah, the hamster was cute, Herbert. That's right. Love ham. Who doesn't love a hamster? And by the way, like, you know what the approval ratings for dogs are in the United States? It's 89%. If you're like dogs, why wouldn't you put that on your resume? That means that nearly 9 out of 10 people are going to see that and relate to you. Put that on your resume. That's the kind of stuff that works. All right, guys, let's go to some questions, please. Okay, Jessa and Chris, you guys are doing a great job. Okay, you got my attention. How do I make my CV about them? Well, that's what we teach in the program. And generally what we're after, right, is we want people to see possibility. Resumes and CV. Yeah, I understand there's a distinction. Sometimes in academia, their CVs are a little bit of a different format, and it's fine. This stuff works for both. Some ways it works better for a CV because academics like to know. I have a doctorate too, right? But it's less, it's more surprising to see it there. And people are in some ways more bored in academia, right? Because it's academia. Not always, not to rag on our friends with letters. I'm one of them. Okay, sorry, Bud, can we put the question up again? Thanks, guys. So how do you make the CV about them? So you're going to write it in a way where they see possibility, right? So if they care about A, B, and C, we're going to talk about A, B, and C in our resume. And I'm not talking about keywords. I'm talking about stories. We're going to show them, right, that there's possibility. The last thing we're going to want to do is say, I'm really good for you. Don't do that. Because as soon as we do that, we rob them of the opportunity for that to be their idea. This is one of the reasons why if I'm applying to be John D booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, John D. If I'm applying to be an ancient Babylonian cabinet maker, the last thing I want to do at the top of that resume and put ancient Babylonian cabinet maker. Because now they're like, well, maybe she's just trying to sell me on that. I don't know. Was that my idea or hers? Ruby K booked a call. Nice job, Ruby K. Coaching call for Ruby K. All right. So hopefully that helps you. Tamia, I hope so. I think it's Dr. Tamia. Okay. Next question, please. On either Andrea or Andrea, whichever one. I hope I got it right with one of those. So you said a resume is not about no, I would say it is about telling a story. It is about storytelling, but the most important thing is we make it about them, Andrea. It is about storytelling. I would say it's the most important thing is make it about them. 2, it's going to tell stories, and 3, it's super authentic. And 4, you're going to want to have a system about it. Those 4 strategies are what I would say. So I'm a fan of stories and resumes, 100%. It's just that we want the story to be ones that show possibility for them. That's what we're after here. And there's a little bit of artistry to that. Yep. All right. Next question, please. Retain. How does an employer gauge the potential value of a candidate to the organization without awareness of their experience? So they might not. And at the end of the day, I mean, look, this is a great thing because like retain, how valuable are you? What's your worth? I'll tell you. Retain, there's not enough money in the effing universe to pay for you because that much money doesn't exist. All your value is infinite. So you're right. Employers, how are they going to gauge your value? Of course they can't do it because it's an impossible number to know. Numbers don't go that high. What they can measure is how much they trust you. So rather than getting into the business of trying to prove your worth, which is like, who cares, right? What you're going to want to do instead is focus on building trust. That's the whole ball game. Exactly. I need to know how someone is going to add value. Yeah, no, you don't. What you care about is, can you trust them? That's what you care about. Because you may like, because we see this in the world. How many times have we seen the most qualified person not getting the job? All the time. How often have we seen the person who's not qualified at all get the job? All the time. How often have we seen the person who they really like not get the offer? All the time. And the person, so this isn't about whether we like them. It's not about experience. It's about trust. See it all the time. Hope that serves. All right. Next question. Whitney. Ageism in the job market. So here's the thing about ageism. And it goes back to what I was just saying. Some of you are hiding your age. You're like, hey, I want you to trust me. I want you to trust me to hire me, to pay me a lot of money and for me to help your organization. But just so you know, I don't trust you. So I'm going to take off the graduation dates on my resume are just going to mysteriously disappear. It's the worst thing you could do because it shatters trust. And even if it doesn't, now you are 97 years old. Because and especially if you've now taken off some of your experience, I don't know how old you are, right? You're wanting to be a vice president, but you've got 10 years of experience. Something doesn't compute. They're hiding something. I don't trust them. Next. So it's possible that they're going to ding you on your age. I mean, I'm not going to say ageism doesn't exist. There's racism, sexism, a lot of isms out there. There's nothing fair about this. And at the end of the day, there's just not a lot we can do about it. So we might as well tell ourselves a story that's more workable, that's more useful. And if we build enough trust, and let's say they don't like people our age, or even they don't like people our gender or race or whatever, I'm not saying it's right, it just happens. If we build enough trust, that stuff won't matter. I would humbly suggest. All right, next question. What else do we have here, folks? Jennifer. Okay, guys, some of you are booking calls. I just want to, so Ruby booked a call. Raphael booked a call. Nice job, Raphael. Right? Brittany booked a call. Christine booked a call. Sorry, I've been dropped. Child booked a call. So I just acknowledge all of you guys are booking the call. Sorry to fall down on the job, my team. Okay, Jennifer, how do I book a call? Okay. So we'll put it in the chat. That's amazing. Andrew S. booked a call. That's amazing. Yeah, and so Adam's saying, how about I pay you when I get hired? Yeah, well, we don't do that because we want you to have skin in the game, Adam. And also it's a disincentive because now you get hired, now you have to pay money. Don't do that. We nearly do it. We knock the payment down to really low, and then you can basically pay it off when you get hired. So, yep, don't do it. It's not like, you got to pay something, right? You got to believe in yourself. It's like the old Kingston Trio song. You got to believe in yourself. You got to prime the pump. You got to have faith. You must believe. Anyway, I could sing all the lyrics. I love that song. Okay, what's the next question, please? You mentioned earlier, don't worry about ATS. What do I mean by that? When ATS is the prevalent in the majority. So Tina, that's an interesting story you're telling yourself. Or maybe it's an interesting story you're telling yourself. Yeah. Oh, Adam, sorry. I'm sorry you're having a hard time there, Adam. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's not a very nice thing to say, guys. Let's invite Adam to go somewhere else. Okay, so I hear you about the ATS, and that is the conventional wisdom out there, right? That it's ATS, and a lot of people spend a lot of time, energy worrying about that. And ATS systems do exist, but if you talk to any recruiter, it's how they bring in like. It's how they organize applications is all. And it's different across organizations. It's different across industries. It's different across all those things. Right. And so and by the way, AI is getting pretty good. The fact that we're going to somehow game the system and trick AI, no, it's too smart for us now. So rather than worry about any of that, send in your application, let the cards follow it where it may. And all the time and energy you might spend worrying about ATS, go behind the scenes and connect with a real employer. Right? A real hiring manager. And this happens all the time, right? And by the way, and I want to acknowledge those of you who are still here, right? Those of you who get those automated rejection lists, I hope you're ignoring those because it's just like, ignore those because I have a couple clients right now that have done this. They got the automated no, they ignored it. They circumvented the recruitment process, and the hiring manager knocked on the back of HR and said, Tina, I want to talk to Tina. And all of a sudden now they get the congratulations, you have an interview. Happens all the time. Yeah. So don't worry so much about ATS. I would humbly suggest. All right, guys, let's see what other, Andrew S. booked a call. Nice job, Andrew. Ed B. booked a call. David H. booked a call. Nice job, guys. Look forward to talking to all of you. Okay, Chris. Do you have to change your resume for every employer applied to you? So it doesn't have to be a complete change. And what you're going to want to have here is a system, because if a good resume is about them, you're not going to want to send the same resume to more than one organization because at least one of them would be off. So you're going to want to have a system that doesn't drive you crazy for making each resume you send about them. It's one of the systems we have in our program, right? And it's not about keywords and all that kind of nonsense, but it's crafting a document that makes the person or organization you're sending to makes them feel seen, heard, and understood. If you can do that, you win. Ryan says, hey, what's ATS? So it's applicant tracking system. It's like the algorithms and the robots and that kind of stuff. All right, guys, you are such a great crowd. We're going to take just a few more questions. How many applications should we be sending out per week? So Peter M. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Peter M. Nice job. So, this is going to vary based on everybody's situation. Some people are currently working. Some people have kids, right? For some people, it's just going to vary. I generally like, if we're looking for just a reference point, I like an application a day, 5 days a week. You could do 7 if you want, but I like 1 a day because you're not just sending out the application. If you're doing this right, you're going to be following up on the application you sent a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Right? We're going to be following up in a certain way. You're also going to be reaching out to your network, right? You're going to be doing a lot of things at once. So and by the way, job searching all day, don't do that. Because if the reason they're going to hire us is because we make them feel safe, if we ourselves don't feel safe because we just had the crap beat out of us, That's my phone, by the way. And someone last week said, "Was that R2D2 just farted?" That's so funny. That was my phone. Sorry about that. It's hilarious. But like, we want to give them safety. That's the whole ball game here. So yeah, I like one a day. Ellie X booked a call. I love that last initial. That's impressive. L. Is it L or Ellie? I'm not sure. Maybe L. LX. That sounds like a superhero. All right, guys. I'll just do a couple more questions. Really acknowledge you for being here. What a great crowd. Amy. Hi, Amy. Do you have recommendations on what to do when you don't hear? Of course we do. Absolutely. Getting ghosted. So first of all, before you leave that interview, you're going to co-create a clear agreement around next steps. So when they say, do you have any questions for us? You could ask a couple, and then you could say, I have one more question. They say, yes. I don't have an interviewer voice. Sorry. Right. They say, yes. Amy could say, what's our timeline here? I'm curious. And they'll say, oh yeah, we'll get back to you. And you say, you'll get back to me. That's fantastic. Love that. Love that you get back to me. Can I ask you a question? Yes. What do you mean? Oh, well, I guess this is my interview guy. Maybe next week. Next week's my favorite, says Amy. Can I ask you something? Yeah. When you say next week, what are you talking about? Right. So you're going to co-create an agreement. So by the end of it says, it sounds like our agreement is we'll be in touch by next Thursday by email by 5 p.m. Eastern. And if we're not in touch by then, here's what happens then. Sound right? Oh, it sounds right. No, none of our other applicants ask these questions. Amy says, thank you for noticing. I'm not like any of your other applicants. See how you can be powerful, my friends? 100%. Love that question, Amy. Thanks for sharing. All right, we're going to do 2 more questions. Here we go. What about career changes due to advancement in pay? Does that look back to? No, I don't think it. Andy L booked a call. I look forward to talking to you, Andy L. So Charles, I don't think it looks bad, right? And this is the kind of powerful thing you could do. And especially if you've sometimes people worry about gaps in their resume, right? If somebody says, hey, why did you leave that job? I mean, you can just say, because I left the job, right? You can't always say that. You could also just say, you can make it, here's how I would make it about them. That job that I left was great. And the next company was doing this and this and this, a lot like you guys are doing. And part of the reason I'm interested in leaving that company right now is because you guys are doing this and this and this and this, and they're just not as far along. See, I just made it about them a little bit. All right, one more question. Hey, Herbert, we look forward to talking to you, right? Annalise. Hi, Annalise. Is it necessary to include, hey, Chris J, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? It's necessary to include. So it's not necessary. It's just an opportunity, because the conventional wisdom out there is nobody listens to cover letters. You know who often says that? People are just kind of lazy and don't want to do cover letters, right? Or recruiters who are lazy and don't want to read cover letters. Don't buy into it. Write a cover letter, and when you write it, Haley R booked a call. Nice job, Haley. We look forward to it. And when you write that cover letter, you're gonna make it about them. One of my favorite things when it comes to cover letters is to count the number of I's and me's. And a lot of cover letters are like I, me. And if there is one you, it's when they say thank you, maybe in the last sentence. Don't let that happen to you. Write the cover letter. Let all your competitors buy into the misinterpretation of reality that nobody writes cover letters. It's an opportunity to serve. So look, guys, you guys have been an awesome crowd. I just acknowledge you for being here for so long. Again, guys, I got a Black Friday special coming up, right? A Black Friday deal. It's awesome, right? We did it last year, and a lot of the people who signed up for Black Friday, like 2 of them were those 2 people that got hired on New Year's Eve. It was amazing, right? So my friends, if you're stuck on a job hunt, whether I get to meet you and work with you or not, or whether you come and get coached by us or not, my invitation to you is don't give up. You are going to figure out this job thing. And if you just want to get this taken care of faster, right? Come do a coaching call with us. And again, if we think on this call that we can serve you, we're going to take a stand. We're going to make you an offer. So don't get on the coaching call and be like, well, I thought it was a free coaching call. It is. And if we think we can help you, we're going to take a stand for you, because we're not going to let you go if we think we can help you without at least making you an offer. That would be unethical of us. So my friends, just acknowledge you for being here. So happy to meet you. Bright things are on the horizon for you. Cheering for you 100 million%. Hope to see you soon.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, get hired fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on an 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I like to hear those stories from others because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
I got a job offer thanks to Win at Work. I really appreciate all the help and materials and one-on-one coaching. I applied cold to an organization I was interested in and received the automated response, "We're pursuing other candidates." And then there was another posting for the same role or similar role in the same organization. And this time I really used a lot of the Win at Work process. I also really appreciate the coaching I received on interview prep from my coach, Patrick, and the Win at Work materials on interview prep. I feel like I really impressed the HR recruiter. She scheduled me for another interview with program directors a couple days later. They were also really impressed and said I had a lot of good answers, and I really just did what I learned in this program. Make it about them, talk about them, be authentic, and now I have my new job offer.
Rich!
I signed up with Eric probably around Thanksgiving, just getting started before I landed a position.
New Year's Eve, Rich. New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve. So it happened really fast. The last newsletter was spot on, where it's like, okay, everybody starts with dusting up their resume and their LinkedIn, but it's really about mindset.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So I'm very, very eager and excited to get back with you and
all right, man,
get that going because it made all the difference in the world last time.
Oh gosh, this is going back in my memory. I would say I was probably searching for 2.5, 3 months before I came across Win at Work. I saw Eric. I had probably sent 20 resumes and I had 2 different sets of interviews and never got any further. All I kept hearing was it is very competitive. It's so much different. And I just thought, you know what? Why am I doing this on my own? I need to find an expert to help me. I was in the midst of looking when I came across one of Eric's ads. It was an invitation to join a webinar. And so I did. He was great at building up and telling you what you needed to do and draw you in. I will say right off the gate, it was a completely different approach to job searching. Applying for jobs just isn't a fun thing. And it's easy to get burned out and it's easy to start thinking negatively and you just don't want to do it anymore. But you guys were always there, kept encouraging us to keep doing it. And so I did. So having that support to urge me to keep going was one. Number 2, the completely different format for the resume was amazing. It was like nothing that I had ever seen before. I have received a number of comments. I felt much more confident sending out that polished cover letter and that polished resume. How long does it typically take for someone in the Win at Work program to get a job? And he gave percentages, and I don't remember what they were, but X amount in the first 6 weeks. And then I think it was a larger percentage in the first 3 months. And I'm like, okay, that's what I need to aim for, is those first 3 months. And I wasn't too far. I may have been a week or two past that, but what he said was true. So that's exciting. And I feel like I got the best of everything I was looking for.
Hi, Mason Fisk, and I live outside of Boston currently. Before I joined, ironically, my interviews were actually high, and then my applications were low. I was really looking for something that was very hands-on. I was someone who, again, I felt like I always could figure things out myself, not doing them correctly. But then once I got into the program, it was kind of the opposite. Like, yes, it was casting a wider net, but at the same time, it was being very thorough. It really is all about your network. Broaden my network, really put myself out there, because I'm someone who is very keen on thinking I could do everything myself, and I know what I'm doing, but sometimes you don't know everything, and that's really how the success for me came out of this program. I have a job offer starting on Monday. Again, without that guidance, I probably would have fumbled it. Again, if you're hesitant for any reason, I have to say it's worth every penny at the end of the day. Eric does know what he's doing. He's created a great program that really hits all points during the entire job application process. The courses are, very thorough, giving tips and tricks and guidance on how to negotiate and get through those stages once you have an offer. And for me personally, I was able to get, 25% more than I was previously making. Again, within almost 3 months, I'm back to work. So